gotta be one of the biggest letdowns that I've seen in a playoff game in quite some time. The last game that I can recall that was this big of a momentum change, a shift, biggest comeback that I've seen were the Falcons and the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Just a few years ago when they were down 28-3 and they came back and won that football game. The Lions had this game wrapped up. This game, for all intents and purposes, was over with in the third quarter. They were up 24-7. You got a few different situations that shifted the momentum in this football game. For one, Dan Campbell and the decision to go for it on fourth down. I understand fully that that's what got them to this point, right? You don't want to switch up. But at the same time, great coaching is knowing that I got to do whatever to preserve this win. I got to play field position. I got to trust in the third phase of the game. I got to trust in my special teams to make plays when we need them to make plays. And so I think it's just inexcusable. Will Dan Campbell lose his job? Of course not. Look at the last time the Lions actually played in the NFC Championship or any type of meaningful game, hosted a playoff game at home. You know, the Detroit Lions have all the momentum in the world, but this was their opportunity, and they let it slip through their hands. What are your thoughts on it, Doug?
I mean, when you're at 21-7, you got your defensive back waving to the crowd talking about bye bye. That just shows me that they weren't in kill mode. I'm not saying kill the other team, YouTube, but I'm just saying you have to have that mindset of being dominant, executing, and closing out the deal. And I think they put the cart before the horse because they were up 21-7. I mean, there's so much football left to play, and you getting hype about 21-7. No, you keep punishing the other team until the clock strikes zero. So I was highly disappointed because of one. I had them going to the Super Bowl. So that's strike one. And then strike two, man. I was highly disappointed about some of the calls that Dan Campbell made. He was
Mm-hmm.
slightly aggressive in certain situations where I just think that it wasn't called for. And I think that just comes from being in the heat of the moment and not being rational about your approach, especially from a play calling perspective. And so you got to be a little conservative at times during the game, and you have to know exactly when to be aggressive. And I think that he missed the mark with that during the championship game. So we have the Niners and the Chiefs again, the second time in 3 years. So I'm looking forward to it. Maybe the 49ers get redemption, but I don't know. I think the Chiefs, they have their number and they're just well coached. So we'll see what happens in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Again, Dan Campbell coached a great game. I think early in our prediction going into the game, we said that the Lions were going to come out and they were going to come out on fire, put a lot of pressure on the 49ers, and they did just that. The only thing was they couldn't close the game. So big shout out to everybody in Detroit. Big shout out to the Lions fans. It's been riding with them. They'll be back. This isn't the last that we'll see of the Detroit Lions. But as he said, this might have been their only shot. It doesn't get easy, trying to make it back. And so we'll see if the Lions can do it. As always, Dub and I are going to give it to you straight. We're going to give you our thoughts. We were wrong this time. It happens.
Both of them.
Give us that CLS treatment anyway. Comment, like, subscribe. We'll be back with more from Any Arena.